Welcome to our Sunday morning meditation service. This morning we're going to do Satanama. Sa is the beginning and it's Sa, then Ta, Na, Ma. Okay, Sa is the beginning, infinity. Ta is life, existence. Na is change, transformation of consciousness. Ma is rebirth, regeneration, and resurrection. Satanama is so primal that its impact on our psyche is like splitting an atom. The power of this mantra comes from the fact that it rearranges the subconscious mind at this most elementary level. It has the power to break habits and addictions because it accesses the level of the mind where habits are created. So, here we go.
Recently, we have been reviewing the 4 agreements in the book by that same title, written by Don Miguel Ruiz. Having concluded our review of the 4 agreements, we will now move on to the philosophical perspective of the Toltec people that Don Ruiz is writing about. So we'll begin with this PowerPoint. Can we have this, please? This is from the 4 agreements on page 105. We have learned that the dream you are living now is the result of the outside dream hooking your attention and feeding you all of your beliefs. The process of domestication can be called the dream of the first attention, because it was how your attention was used for the first time to create the first dream of your life. One way to change your beliefs is to focus your attention on all those agreements and beliefs and change the agreements with yourself. In doing this, you are using your attention for the second time, thus creating the dream of the second attention, or the new dream. This is just another interesting way of speaking about the transformation that we go through when we decide to take to task the thinking of the world that has influenced our thinking and our lives. We were all born into the illusionary definition of life, and that's the first attention. We didn't have as much understanding in our childhood as we do later in life. In our childhood, we automatically accepted the beliefs of our parents and other authority figures without having any awareness of the fact that these may not be the most satisfying or healing or productive beliefs. And so we were more or less victims, in a sense, of the world. The world hooked us in to its collective dream. The Toltecs believed that everybody dreaming creates the world, but the world has its own significant elements, which once this was established, everyone was born into and influenced by that established idea of life, which is flawed in so many different ways, and we have to come to understand that. So the first attention we gave to those beliefs now must be taken to task, and we must open ourselves to the possibility of choosing beliefs that are more productive, more healing, more harmonious for our lives. And that's what this is all about. This, according to Don Ruiz, is necessary in order to start the transformative process. We first must come into the awareness that our thinking must be flawed in a way that it's not bringing about what it is we would desire or truly want in our lives. And so Don Ruiz, in the book, The Four Agreements, suggests that once we are open to the possibility of personal transformation, we should take an inventory of our own personal beliefs that are fear-based, inhibiting, and start with those, so at least we know what it is we want to change. And then he'll go on to say this. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? Oh, this is from the book of Romans. I wanted to show you that this truth of transformation has been around since the beginning of time, has been part of the teachings of the masters down through the ages. And here it is 2,000 years ago. This is what Paul is saying. And now we just got done having Don Ruiz tell us about the world hooking us into the limited beliefs. And now we have 2,000 years before that, you have, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may prove what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. You must be transformed by the renewal of your mind. if you don't glean anything else from this, you also see here the confirmation of what in Unity we have been sharing, which is that we see through the mind, not the eyes. This is part of that really necessary understanding, that we see through the mind, not the eyes. We live a long time believing that we are simply reacting to phenomena, conditions, circumstances that arise separate and apart from me. You see, that is the thinking of the world that we were hooked into. It is the thinking of separation. There's me, and there's everything else that is not me. But we try to operate from that illusion for a long time before we realize it does not prevail to bring about harmony, healing, peace, love, prosperity. It doesn't. It more or less creates conflict and fear and worry and concern. So at some point, we have to come to the realization of that. But look at what we're coming to the realization of. That we no longer really see through the eyes. We see through the mind. And that is projected outside of us and reveals the world we are living in. And as it turns out, no two people are living in the same world. Similar things about their world because they were hooked into the world, but they're not living in the same world. Each is living in accordance with his or her projected beliefs, that collection of beliefs that one has taken in over the years. So that's the first step. And then we recognize that if there's things in life we're not capable of dealing with in a meaningful way, we want to change that. Don Ruiz says, well, take an inventory of those particular beliefs that are fear-based. What causes you fear? What causes you concern? What causes you to be upset? What causes you to be angry, even vindictive or vengeful? What causes you to do that? What causes your mind to hold these images of conditions and circumstances and people who appear to be outside of you and hold them in derision? You hold them in limited ideas and beliefs, and you react to them that way. Well, once you take an inventory and you become aware that you're on a spiritual journey, a journey of transformation, when you start to have these negative thoughts and emotions rise in your awareness, instead of simply reacting to them, is to pause and to, here's the way out. You want it? Take it now. Here it is. The pause. You want out of the life that is not bringing you happiness, harmony, and peace? If you want out, this is it. You pause. You pause. You have to have the courage, the willingness to pause when you're holding negative thoughts and emotions, and ask yourself deep within, what is it I am thinking and believing that may not be true? If you're capable of doing that, you're on your way to becoming enlightened. Until you're capable of doing that, you're still going to buy the world and all the madness that goes with it. So, part of this personal dilemma that we have is that we have grown used to the beliefs that have robbed us of peace of mind and happiness. We've grown used to them. And we actually believe, still believe, that they're the cause of my negative thoughts, feelings, and actions. That they're the cause of my unhappiness. because we've been with them so long and say, well, this is what's happening. People used to say to me, they don't do it very much anymore. When I'd get finished and we'd go out and have tea or something in Fellowship Hall, every now and then someone would say to me, but Jack, in the real world, oh yeah, no, I'm totally deluded. You're living in the real world of unhappiness, but I'm the one that's deluded in the real world. The real world is the one we are seeking. And that's what Don Ruiz is trying to get across to us, that we have to take an inventory and be willing to change those beliefs we have agreed to believe in. We've given ourselves permission to believe in them. But as I said, a lot of it happened in our childhood when there were no alternatives. We were surrounded by parents and authority figures who themselves were not enlightened. And then the four agreements will go on to share this. You can read this on page 106 and 107. The first step is to become aware of the fog that is in your mind. You must become aware that you are dreaming all the time. Only with awareness do you have the possibility of transforming your dream. If you have the awareness that the whole drama of your life is the result of what you believe, and what you believe is not real, then you can begin to change it. However, to really change your beliefs, you need to focus your attention on what it is that you want to change. You have to know which agreements you want to change before you can change them. And I can say this, the very fact that you're entering into an understanding within yourself of that which you want to change, you're already approaching the core of your being, in which your own divine soul awareness exists. And by approaching that, you will ultimately, eventually, stimulate that soul awareness to rise in your consciousness. So you can say that as you become focused on your desire to become awake in the process of living, not asleep, not reacting, not judging, not fearing, not wanting, not running, but awake. I will be awake today. I will pause when negative thoughts and emotions rise within me. I want to be awake. I want to be awake. To the degree that you are focused and devoted to being awake in the process of living, to that degree, at some point, God, energy, life itself, the true self, will enter into your awareness and start to open up this transformation, the healing that you're seeking, removing the negative, fear-oriented beliefs and replacing them with the divine consciousness of truth. That's what will happen. So you start off by being personally focused in your desire to transform your thinking, your awareness, your life. But at some point, divine inspiration enters in to bring about the ultimate healings that are necessary and needed. And I can say that in the Bible, where so many people have given up, they were so badly brought into it to begin with, ministers who themselves did not take to task their own awareness, still teaching a separate God somewhere in a distant heaven. But look at this Bible with new eyes. Just consider the story of the prodigal son. It's the story of what I just said to you. We start off in this negative, limited experience of thinking of the world, and then we take to task our own awareness, and then this divine intervention of some kind. So I'll just give you a thumbnail sketch of it. The son, in the story of the prodigal son, separates from his father's estate, and travels to a foreign country and enjoys the pleasures and treasures of his personal life. That's written in the Bible 2,000 years ago. For what purpose? He leaves the father's estate and takes his belongings and his inheritance and goes on his own to a foreign country to enjoy the treasures and pleasures of the personal life. As the story goes, he soon becomes broke and destitute. Humbled, the son decides to return to the father's estate, willing just to be treated as one of the father's servants. But long before the son reaches the father's estate, the father goes out to meet him and calls for a celebration as he exclaims, "Let us have a great feast in honor of my son. Here, put on him a new robe, give him beautiful shoes, put a ring on his finger. For my son who was dead has returned to life." The majesty of that parable. That it exists down through the ages for every human being born into the world. You are the prodigal son. You have taken on the illusion that through your personal prowess, you can organize your life in this world of separation, concern, and conflict. You can organize your life, become smart enough, or maybe rich enough, to organize your life so that the world is going to pay off and you're going to find happiness, peace, prosperity, love, and joy. Never happened. Not for anyone. Name a Hollywood star it's happened for. Hasn't happened. They have the facade, they live the facade, it works for their profession to live the facade, but they all have grievances. Because you will have grievances as long as you have not taken on your divinity. That's the way life is. I am somewhat grievous about the loss of Gene Hackman. In my book, he was one of the best. But as life goes, we all eventually, if we don't enter into the enlightened state, terminate the body, or it has to be terminated. But the process is beautiful and honorable and real. You can enter divine awareness. You can enter universal consciousness before you ever drop the body. That's why we have teachings like the Four Agreements and like the Prodigal Son. You know, just recently someone asked me if the Four Agreements actually coincides with the teachings of A Course in Miracles. So I'm going to let you decide. This is from A Course in Miracles. Can we have this next PowerPoint? This is in the workbook on page 236, paragraphs 1 and 2. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself with a capital S? When it does that, what it means is not talking about the limited definition of self in the personality of the ego. So when you see the little self, that's what it's referring to. When you see the big S, it's referring to the divine self that is at the core of your being. So what keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real, and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone is free to change his or her mind, and all his thoughts or her thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think or ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not want defined. If you had nothing else, if there was no literature left on planet Earth, and you were born here to carry on a life, all you would need is this from A Course in Miracles. Can we take it back again? To find yourself in true life. What keeps the world in chains? It's not happenstance. The world's not rising up outside of you, in which you have no relationship to. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world that you're looking upon except yourself, your higher awareness? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and the illusions are as strong in their effects on you as is the truth. A madman thinks what he sees is real, and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think or ever thought or yet will think. Don't step away from this line. It's telling you the truth. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think and ever thought or yet will think. You know this is true. The source of your thinking, prior to taking to task your awareness and entering into your divine consciousness, the source of your thinking was the world itself. You operated from the illusion of separation, being a separate ego consciousness in a world of separate phenomena, separate people, separate condition. And in that illusion of separation, your thoughts all came to, how can I make this material world work better for me? How can I get more money? How can I make things work so I can fix the future? Maybe my next relationship, I'll find someone who will really love me and we'll have the love we're seeking. It's all outside, it's all outside, it's all outside. The source of your thinking prior to your taking to task your own awareness is your ego-driven illusion that was given to you upon birth by the world in which you live. That's it. The world has given you all this false information about life. And you think that life will work if you can only get other people who are separate from you, other conditions that are separate from you, other circumstances that appear to arise separate from you, if you can get them all to conform to your personal ego-centered desires and expectations. You believe that until you come to true life. Now all you have to do is ask yourself, you're sitting here, just ask yourself and answer it. Is it possible what this guy is saying is true? Ask yourself that. Is it possible that all the churches and the cathedrals of the world involved in pomp and circumstances and fear that you have to do right or you're not going to on that distant day get to that separate distant heaven and God? So all of that has to be challenged if you want to enter into the life truly worth living. And it comes down to these beliefs that you have lived in, agreed to, and lived by, that have always been generated by more concern or fear or wanting. And so you have before you, and these are not my words. They were written more than 2,000 years ago. You have before you life and truth, or death and despair. This particular passage in Deuteronomy goes on to say this. Listen very carefully. Don't say to yourself, who will go across the sea and get it and bring it to me? Or who will go beyond the mountains and get it and bring it to me? But the word of God is nearer to you than your breath. And it is there for you to choose it. And of course, the Master of Life says that this kingdom of God is within you. But you must choose it. So occasionally I remind people I am not just speaking from academic teaching. I'm speaking from experience. Most of it is fortified by my experience. My life was so foolishly, stupidly lived, I have kind of an advantage in that. I can look back and I can see how while I was living in the street thinking awareness, everybody around me was lost and stupid, till I discovered, geez, they're lost and stupid, and I must be lost and stupid. But that was the beginning. So I can look back on my life and see the different layers over my life as I finally started to change my mind. The characters around me changed. The conditions around me changed slowly and slowly and slowly until I went into the ministry. You don't have to go into the ministry to become enlightened. You can find enlightenment in the life you're living right here and now. You simply have to take to task your own awareness. All right? We're going to take some time to meditate. Take a couple of deep breaths. As you release your breath, release any cares or concerns, deeply embedded cares and concerns even. Just become willing to be sitting here and for this moment in this meditation to feel okay. Just to be here present, allowing this moment to be what it is. Not fearing, not judging, not wanting, just allowing. And you can bring to mind this truth. Gently bring to mind this truth. Rest in the knowing that I am in you, this wisdom of true life, and your awakening in me transforms your fragmented vision of life. Rest in the knowing that I am in you, the wisdom of true life, and your awakening in me transforms your fragmented vision of life. Rest in the knowing that I am in you, the wisdom of true life, and your awakening in me transforms your fragmented vision of life. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us go forth with a greater determination to be awake in the process of living. For this opportunity in every moment, we give thanks. And to this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And those of you watching this live stream, you can look at this and any number of ways to tithe to Unity of Boulder. You can scroll, if you're on our website, to the top right-hand corner where it'll give you an opportunity to tithe through PayPal or Venmo. But I do suggest that you tithe to this Unity of Boulder, for it is here that you're seeking the truth. And it is the most valuable thing anyone can come into. And it is certainly worth your support, and it will be more capable of you to receive it if you support it. And everyone here can bring into their hands that gift they'd like to make to Unity of Boulder, and you can bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
For you to see the light, you must see the light in all people, in all people. For you to see the light, you must see the light in all people, in all people.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. So it is. Amen. Okay, once again today, we're going to have our group discussion in the bookstore. That's through these doors to your left. There's an annex area that has chairs that are circled up. If you want to discuss anything about this talk or anything to do with unity, we usually have an open and vibrant discussion of people who stay around for that. So just go through these doors into the bookstore and join us for that discussion. I'll be over there in about 5 minutes. And we also have refreshments in the fellowship hall if you want to grab a cup of tea or I don't know if they have bagels, sometimes they do, or cookies. But so you're welcome and you are invited to join us.
And I have a handout for Satanama here at the front and also on the table in the lobby. And it will change your life, but it really explains why you would like to do that chant. It's really unbelievable. So,
To everyone, have an awakened day.